but still poke and a lot of good rotation spells, which was the main way they got their advantage. A little bit of poke, then they'd go really fast to an objective.
We'll see if they're going to continue that trend right here. First few bans come out, and looks like NME eSports wants to lock down some of the movement as they once again get rid of Apollo Sivir. This is the second ban in a row against that champion, a champion he'd played 5 times leading up to it anyway.
What's he going to do now?
Yeah, no rise for Flares. I think that's not really a big surprise, even though we did see him unpicked occasionally. Trash told me he's only playing Frost-based champions recently, and the Sejuani ban helps remove that option from him.
Looks like we're going to Trundle. That's the only other thing that he can play. No, really, Rek'Sai or Nunu are pretty key picks he could go with here.
Yeah, we'll see if they pinch.
They obviously still have bans left.
Of course, so a lot of room still to go here. Echo, Sivir dropped away, and NME taking a long time with that third ban, but they're going to drop Alistair away. Impulse, of course, has placed a high priority on that champion before. They'd first picked it in the banless game against TDK a couple weeks back, which said that this was the most valuable champion for them. And NME eSports not allowing that to get played. Now can look for their first pick after Impulse bans one more thing. Mid laner's not really being attacked at all.
No, they're leaving pretty much everything up. It does feel like Inox's champion pool has grown wide enough to not necessarily need bans against it. Xiao as well. Almost the opposite, where he had success on LeBlanc and pretty much nothing else this split. And with LeBlanc receiving significant nerfs, you also don't need to throw bans at it.
Now, his other good assassins like Kassadin are still up. I'm actually a bit surprised to see Kassadin not played all that much so far this split. Just to me, it was a champion that I thought would be much more popular, but he's been more of a niche pick. That's fine. Either way, first pick Kalista comes through for Otter. We've seen many teams go for this champion right away, and she continues her high pick and ban rate.
Yeah, both obviously Gragas and Rek'Sai being up. It's kind of a preferential pick here. Yesterday, he did end up playing the Rek'Sai in their defeat to Dignitas. Didn't have a good game. 0-5-5. Getting Rumble on Impact, I think, could actually be a pretty key thing here. Going back and forth between that and Heckman, though.
Rush already locked in the Gragas, so it seemed like they were like, yeah, okay, we're for sure doing Gragas. We're still debating the top lane pick. Impact decides, you know what? I'm going to go with the Flame Spitter caster. Rumble is in, so Impulse so far picking champions for their own players so far. And 2 of the highest priority champions have been locked away for them.
It's a relatively standard pick ban phase so far.
Yeah.
Interesting, kind of, that Rush did pick his jungler in Gragas. That shows a clear preference between the two, knowing that obviously if both are up, you could have picked a different priority pick. Adrian. It's interesting. Adrian hasn't been playing his Leona this split.
I had the same thought, actually, that that's like all he played in spring, and then they even banned the Annie, the other sort of easy engaged champ you normally see from him. So maybe he plays something more peel-based.
Because I was just thinking about the potential like power picks you could get at support.
Right.
And Thresh would be one of those.
Well, Leona was nerfed a couple patches ago.
And Leona also did get the width reduction on the Zenith Blade. No Thresh for you, though, Adrian, if Body Drop ends up taking it here.
And interestingly, NME eSports also really delaying their showing any picks here. They know they can get Rek'Sai whenever they want. Trashy grabs it and says, it's fine, pick it whenever. The Thresh gets picked up, but otherwise, NME blind picking very few roles here, really hoping that they can see more of the comp before picking for their solo lanes.
Very versatile things that NME's picked so far. No real commitment on any of those picks, as you say. Yeah, and honestly, Team Impulse needs to find a way to kind of re-get their identity here. Will they have a strange pick? Xiao technically has the ability to last pick his mid laner, and I think he should. He should definitely be trying to counterpick Inox here.
Yeah.
So I'd expect the AD carrying support pick here. Graves and Leona, but there's been no Leona lately, so something totally different.
And they will, in fact, save the last pick for Xiao. Xiao actually liked the card this he did briefly. I think he should bring that one back. I think it's a fun champion, but either way, Impulse grabbing a strong duo lane in Corki Nautilus.
Yasuo?
It's actually a pretty good team for him, yeah.
Yasuo, that's the main reason I would think. Like, if they're going Corki AD carry and already have an AP top, you're expecting a physical damage mid, so that means Varus, Jace, or Yasuo as their last pick, which is probably what Inox should be having in his mind for what he'd expect Xiao to play. That being said, though, Xiao is a wild card.
Yeah.
No idea what he's going to do.
Mid-Ezreal, who knows? Double AD team. This actually would fit a double AD team for what that's worth. A lot of disengage, magic damage top laner. We've seen Xiao play quirky mid. If we're thinking about other ways to flex that composition, it's something that they've done specifically, this type of champions.
Quirky mid is one of those things that caught on for a little bit in North America and then just died.
Yeah. Oh, all right. So Inox is going to get his first Nidalee of the split. He hasn't played this champion
He's doing it.
in a long time, but this is going to be Nidalee and a top lane Hecarim for flares.
It was last week I was talking to Inox about Nidalee, actually, and he said that Nidalee was primed for a comeback in the LCS. I asked him why. He said, well, it's because of the return of poke champions. Since Nidalee can poke, but more importantly, heal up after poke, is when he expects it to be good. So this is not only a pick for him to poke, but he is expecting a poke champion from Xiao that he wants to be able to out-poke and out-heal.
Well, we'll see if that's going to be the pick, though. I don't know if Yasuo's poke champion, and it is. Good call, Jat. Mid, Yasuo comes back out for Xiao, and for one of the first times, it actually feels like it's the right choice for the team comp.
Yeah, Xiao, you're doing it.
With a Gragas and a Nautilus to help set him up as well, so Impulse, definitely a lot of playmaking available. Xiao playing kind of his signature champion. Inox doing the same, so it's cool to see these guys playing champs they're really well known for.
Yeah, and honestly, the Yasuo is a good pick here. It's better than the Varus or the Jace would have been, even if the Varus and Jace are more conventional for the mid lane at the moment in the meta. But because the Nidalee was specifically designed to counteract poke, the fact that Impulse is now going with Hard Engage gives him the advantage with that last pick.
Yeah, Hard Engage and not exactly a lot of peel for NME eSports, so if they get caught, they're not getting away either. So definitely some sticking power for the Yasuo. These teams finalizing their swaps, runes, and masteries. Ignite Nidalee, by the way, is what it's looking like for the mid lane matches. So maybe a very, very aggressive battle in the mid lane.
The most poorly drawn thing I've seen on someone's chest, unfortunately.
Oh, I missed it.
Yeah, I don't even, it's like a hammer, I think.
Okay.
Sorry, friend.
I missed it. Either way, I'm hoping it was Captain Hammer, because then it would be great.
Didn't miss much.
Maybe. Okay. Either way, the teams are loading onto the Rift, so head on to Twitter and let us know who you think is going to win this game. Tweet hashtag NME win or hashtag TIP win to @LOL eSports. Try and code chance in the audience. It's going to be a fun game ahead of us, guys. Ignite for the Nidalee. Very aggressive. Exhaust for the Yasuo. So they are set to duel each other.
Yeah.
And here we go.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
You almost never see an offensive summer on mid lane Nidalee. Inox got something planned here. He wants to fight early and often.
All right, fighting early and often is typically Team Impulse's wheelhouse, though, which makes that kind of interesting. But with a lot of damage dealers on NME eSports, we talked to Adrian about that, and he says his team is full of carry, so he's had to adjust his playstyle.
I feel like I'm doing pretty good, but like there's more champions I want to play for the team, but there's certain champions my team wants me to play, so I have to play what they want. I'm more of a really aggressive player, but I have to play passive for our team because we have 3 carries, Rush, Impact, and Xiao. So we have to play safe bottom all the time. I really want to play aggressive, but I can't.
Force plays.
Yeah.
Team's style.
It's interesting. It almost always seemed like one of their strengths that everyone would go in. Everyone's on the same page, but I guess they just want to wait for the other guys to be playmakers, follow up afterwards.
That did always seem like the style of the team, that it was about those top 3 players, and the dueling would show up.
It's true. Can't make a basketball team with a bunch of people who just shoot every time. You need people who can pass, defend.
Team of 5 marksmen wouldn't win any games, most likely.
Unless, sometimes 5 marksmen on ARAM is pretty strong.
Until Malphite kills everyone by himself.
As long as the other team doesn't have Malphite.
If we win pick and ban, we can win the game.
Conditionals.
Always fun. Now, interesting conditions here in this game. No deep wards to speak of. There's been some wards to look for lane swaps or freezes and whatnot. You're seeing like a deep ward in the top lane. But either way, Team Impulse have sent their dual lane to the top side. They'll be taking Krugs. The same thing for the NME eSports dual lane here.
Yeah.
The top
interesting.
Jungle.
It was a defensive line setup, which, in my opinion, like, if you want to actually do a lane swap, my favorite setup to do it is actually to just do defensive wards and not do the deep ward thing that spots someone out and then scouts the lane. Because people have actually found ways around most of these things, whether it be, you know, going out into your lane early and waiting to recall, or only showing yourself through the ward before it's too late to actually swap lanes afterwards. So giving no information, denying the person from coming into your jungle, and being able to recall at peace and then safely walk somewhere feels like the best 50-50 role you could get for a lane swap. Or in this case, with Corki Nautilus, no one's actually expecting it, so to do it like this and not give any tells before you do so almost guarantees that you get the lane swap.
Lane swap comes through, so Impulse sending the dual lane up to that top side, and they've already got their support running around. Adrian warding up around the jungle, making sure nothing fishy is happening, and it looks like we will have a normal start all said and done. I'm trying to see what buffs Rush has, and he's already got the double buffs. Now also heading to that western jungle, so Impulse are able to actually take more of the buff camps away because of this very intricate level 1 setup.
Yeah, and they get to the lane as quickly as possible too. Rush will be hitting level 3, or sorry, Trashy will be hitting level 3 pretty quickly as well. I'm thinking this is just mainly a split, and Inox can't quite get aggressive yet until he sees where Rush is. Yeah. Otherwise, they're pretty much just trading.
You can only assume that they're on the top left side of his screen, but where exactly, who knows? Puts a ward down and a brush to stay alive, and Impulse will be able to collapse on top of this top lane outer turret. Mid lane goes equal, bottom lane still battling into the turret as well. That one's nearly gone, but now comes the aggression from Xiaowei. Xiao has the knock-up, lands it on an Inox. Exhaust means a lot of damage, but out goes the Nidalee. Flashes, I'm not sure if he needed to.
I think he was just afraid of Xiao getting another Q auto off on him and flashing for a kill, but yeah, I agree with you. That was a bit of an early flash. Definitely punishment coming out from Xiao's aggression early.
Well, it is a trade of summoners either way. Flash for Exhaust, but a shorter cooldown for Xiao. We'll see as the later fight goes on. Inox is out of mana. He can use Cougar form, but no more heals. Otter, thanks to the earlier help from his jungle, will be able to take that turret down first. So far not answered by Team Impulse, but here comes the rest of the team. Xiao is missing Exhaust. The hook doesn't quite land, but still, the walk play. The Q lands from Rek'Sai, and Xiao stays alive. Flare's in a bad spot. Kill goes over to Impact. The misplayed dive for the chase. Inox gets the kill with his Ignite. Xiao still nearly dead, and maybe there's enough damage. Inox on the hunt goes for a little bit more. But it's a 1-for-1.
So many missed skill shots from NME, but it still results in a 1-for-1. They lose the first blood gold. Also, the kill distribution is split between the top and the mid laners. Basically, just a lot of action coming mid. Initiative by NME, but misplayed so they don't get the edge.
And Xiao able to limp through this lane with about 150 health, but gets enough CS to maybe buy some items. Sitting on 1,200 gold on the recall is actually a good break point for him. Inox, that forced the wind wall. Really made no difference
the
here.
recall, and especially Inox getting the double buffs is really swingy for this lane. Now he'll be able to sustain up and just spam out spears. It's very difficult to lane against what will end up being a back-to-back blue buff Nidalee once Inox's blue buff comes up again. It's going to be a bit of a struggle now for Xiao, despite his early lead, to hold his advantage in this lane. Yeah,
the funny thing about his early lead is he got no assists on those kills, even though they happened in his lane, so he didn't get any bonus gold for this. The rest of Team Impulse still slinking around the mid lane, something that Inox is aware of, so I feel like he'll be safe. But Rush still looking to take over the jungle. I mean, this is exactly what we expect out of this game. A lot of aggression early on, and every moment's like a bit tense here.
Yeah, and we had this discussion earlier, Freak, about NME actually being on the sour side of a lot of big early game engagements that end up happening. They had that one game where they lost 3 people at the very start of the game. Some of that kind of has to do with nerves, and they had a real danger of that happening once again with that dive in the mid lane when they flashed in, multiple flashes and ignites, didn't even secure the kill. They ended up getting away with it kind of because Inox was able to pick up one on the backside, but it still goes to show you some of that misplaying in critical early situations in the stage fright that this team is going to have to get over as this LCS split continues.
And as the rest of this game continues as well, we've been watching the mid lane for the most part. As the nerves settle, the duo lanes have swapped after their initial turret kills, and we're going to see another turret trade as Apollo will take down the bottom lane, and Otter will take down the top lane here. It'll even become a freeze if he wants it to do that. Level 5 on the Kalista, level 5 on the Corki. Pretty parallel lane, but the funny thing is here, normally when a team lane swaps away from the bot lane, it's a team that stayed that gets Dragon, and that 4 minutes ago could have been NME eSports here. Instead, they didn't go for Dragon. When the lane swapped back, it's Impulse who did that.
Yeah.
Dragon 1 goes over to the red side.
And that's the cost of what NME did to the mid lane gank. That was the timing window in which they would have been taking the dragon after the turret trade was done. Because of that, basically, Impulse is not only pretty much a turret up in gold. The turrets are obviously equal, but the 600 gold lead, they also have the dragon.
A lot of good things done for this red team so far. The risks haven't bid them too far. 700 gold lead really just from farm because the kills and the turrets are the same. Yasuo shield roughly tanks a Nidalee javelin at this level. Takes a bit of damage, but then can build it back up. But we're seeing Xiao doing a great job in this mid lane up against Inox. And Rush out farming Trashy.
Yeah, Rush's out farming of Trashy is the biggest difference in this game. It's actually 500 gold right there. Gank in the top lane.
Exhaust is good, Flay is good as well. Impact does not have any summoners. He used it in the initial brawl. That means a kill over to Otter, and it equalizes the gold here, equalizes the farm lead with a big wave in the top lane still to farm. And we go back to a docile game again. It's
very important that Flares' Hecarim can get an early lead. It's one of his best champions, and he's actually 0-2 with it in the LCS, but getting that early lead so he can get an early home guard boot and start teleporting in to make plays, especially since he's not gone for the Smite Hecarim, just makes it so much more important.
Yeah, the thing is, Ignite TP Hecarim is more about the laning phase, about the prowess, which speaks back to Impulse going for that blind pick lane swap earlier in the game. Rumble can get no farm, just hit level 6 and be a useful champion. The fact that the top laners are still level 4, they're the level of the supports, or in some cases even lower.
Yeah,
these are going to be very low impact players.
Double the level by the mid lane. So yeah, it's going to take a while for these guys to catch up, especially with the frozen lanes and the sides being farmed by the 80 carries. There's choices being made that are saying the 80 carries need to continue to have this arms race, and the top laners are going to continue to get the short end of the stick. It's actually a trend that we don't see that much in the modern day game because top laners are carrying and tanking a lot better than they used to. Yeah. This is almost a throwback to a type of game we'd see last year.
Absolutely the case, but here we go. Impact getting caught up here. He's only level 4, which means he could die fast. Trashy getting caught up. He's level 6. Oh, Inox dies there for the kill, but the knockups mean Yasuo says hello, and Xiao answers back. Adrian gets the kill credit, but out goes the rest of NME eSports trying to stay alive. Another knockup lands, won't get a kill, but a 1-for-1 trade, then a better one for Impulse.
Yeah, nice follow there from Xiao, knowing Rush was going to knock them up straight away with the barrel. They inbuilt synergies for this Yasuo, no longer just this random 5th pick Yasuo for Xiao. It's actually a team composition with damage distribution and knock-up assistance with which Yasuo can work.
And look at the extra aggression by Impulse. Apollo broke the freeze, shoved the wave down, and his team is already there to capitalize on this push. This turret nearly dead. The wave will still bounce back afterwards with not that much farm going to Flares, but at least the income has finally started for this Horseman. This Otter just keeps freezing. He hasn't fought a champion in a long time.
Yeah. Looks like he's going Blade of the Ruined King first on Kalista as well. Not your most common first item. We either see the Bloodthirster or the Hurricane as the first major completed item, but Blade of the Ruined King Kalista it is. Now that he's hit his power spike, you would wonder if he's going to go wandering in for those team fights.
I don't know. But the way I normally see Kalista, it feels like she doesn't team fight well till Hurricane, which is obviously very late in.
Of course.
But right now, Inox have to be a little afraid. Xiao has a knockup available. Lighted up does not land the hook, but that's going to be a great tornado. A lot of damage to the enemy eSports support, and the kill will go through. Can enemy trade back? Xiao, the javelin hits, and in comes Flares, charging with the ulti. A second kill picked up. Enemy winning the fight so far, but Rush with a great explosive cast knocks him right back in. A 2-for-2. Enemy eSports on the retreat.
It really feels like Rush is playing with confidence this game, which is something that he was sorely lacking in some of his matches once he started to fall behind. But now he has the lead on a Trashy. He came in near the end of that. Beautiful ultimate to start knocking them back. Despite this game being very close, it definitely feels like it's an Impulse-styled matchup thus far.
And even though the kill lead is with enemy eSports, it feels like Impulse are the one controlling the pace just a little bit more here. The fact that they've nearly killed a turret in the bottom lane, they're up that first dragon.
Yeah, the interesting thing is how many kills enemies been able to pick up on the back end of a lot of these fights. Even the mid lane failed gank at the start of the game. It looked like it was going to fall just for Team Impulse, but then Inox is just able to squeeze out these kills. He's been losing lane, generally speaking, to the Yasuo pushed in again and again, but he's found the kills. Now, 3 kills onto him. He still is lacking wave clear. This whole enemy team is severely lacking wave clear and is at risk of getting pushed in.
Which is exactly what Team Impulse are doing right now. The low wave clear makes defense really hard. full wave here, and Corki with a Sheen doing plenty of damage here. Trashy looking for a bit of a flank move onto the top side because Flares is already here to fight. Impact does have Flash, still no ulti. Impact is still level 5. Flashes for no effect at all. Great kill picked up again for NME eSports, picking on Impact.
Wow. So yeah, a 2-level disadvantage for Impact. We were just talking about how it seemed like Team Impulse was winning, but we were omitting the other game that's been going on, which is the lane swap battle of who can actually pick up the scraps of farm, and Impact hasn't been able to get any. Yes, he's picked up 2 kills, so he's only down 300 gold, but that type of level discrepancy, level 7 versus level 5, is tremendously impactful.
I gotta say, maybe we're approaching some kind of record for the slowest a top laner reaches their ultimate, because Impact just now, 13:22 into the game, has the equalizer. Now it isn't time for Dragon number 2. Normally you have like Rumble for Dragon 1, but the way this game plays out, he's got the power spike, he's ready with Haunting, guys.
Good luck pulling that stat. Give me slowest top laner to hit level 6 in LCS history.
Yep, I actually just asked that
Twitter,
a minute ago while you were monologuing. You built me some time for that.
Yeah. I don't think we can do it.
I don't.
Someone on the internet might be able to, though.
All right.
I'd be impressed.
Yeah. Well,
that will draw a retweet if it is correct.
That will draw your retweet. The highest praise for you. I'll upvote your thread on Reddit or on the league board, whichever one you choose. I'll find it. The NME eSports are here and ready for this. Now, problem is Teleport is up for Impact. He's happily pushing the top lane. Enemy on a numbers disadvantage, have to make something happen soon, or they just let Rumble farm and farm and farm and catch up. And Enemy realizes they're not getting anything done here, and it's a failed Dragon attempt.
Yeah, so much of these fights are going to be in the setup, especially about whether or not Inox is able to poke down on Italy. The in-team fighting sync of Enemy is really strange. They have this one poke champion in Italy, and then everyone else on the team is like a team fight flank diver. So it's basically Inox having to land good poke, and then we'd want a TP initiate to come in to finish something. But once again, that's very reliant on Inox to do his job well.
Well, Inox has to do his job right now. Dragon's being started. Impact is recalling to buy items and maybe TP in for this Dragon. Looks like there's not going to be an attempt from Enemy eSports, and Dragon number 2 goes to Team Impulse. Now, Jat, I want you to retweet me here. We found it. Old slowest top laner to level 6 was 10:55.
This split?
I assume
all time
of
in the
LCS. I assume LCS all time.
I don't believe that.
This split, just kidding.
All right.
Ha!
I want it all time.
I want it all time too.
Different stats, man.
All right, we're being betrayed by production.
But okay, this split, that's at least 2.5 minutes slower than we've seen yet in now 4 weeks of the LCS this split, so there's no way we can do it.
No, yeah, that's exactly what I was told as well.
It's
so,
impossible.
Internet, please help us. In the meantime, though, Rush happy to help his team. 2 Dragons to 0. Overall gold equalized in this one, and the poke could be pretty menacing. So far, Javelins are not yet landing, though, despite Inox's continual attempts. Orlanomicon plus blue buff does make him scary. And right now, it feels like Impulse are starting to get some really good pressure. All their lanes are winning in terms of farm, except for the top lane. Yeah, the aforementioned Impact.
But that jungle lane, though, it's up 22 CS.
Exactly.
Even though he's down 2 kills, he's up gold. This has honestly just been a game of killing Impact over and over again.
And speaking of, Impact has the ulti. The first one of the game helps his enemy team jungle.
Wow. They're picking on him.
Yeah.
Something fierce.
This is what TSM feels like. Spring split.
Yep. Pretty much. The world in which top lane... Like I said, this is kind of a throwback to a spring split game as well, where if a top laner falls behind, the game right now is Enemy just keeping Impact consistently out of the game. He will still become Rumble at some point, though. That's the thing about Equalizer. As soon as he's got his magic penetration item, so when he hits level 11, if that ever happens, his ultimate will be doing good damage.
It even fits the lore of Rumble as a champion.
Does it?
Like the big, he's like the big underdog. He's like scrappy. No one respects him. Hybridinger gets all the ladies, and then he's like, hey, I'm gonna build a big robot and get my revenge.
So he builds a mech.
Yeah.
All right.
And he becomes one of the most important top laners in LCS history. That's canon.
Also slowest to level 6.
Yes.
Congratulations.
That's part of the origin story.
Yeah.
If you don't face adversity, you're never really a true hero.
36 CS at 17 minutes.
That's also rough. He's nearly getting out CS by Adrian. Like, it's close.
He's going to ruin his stats. Poor guy.
CSD at 17. Half. Ugh.
Yeah, anyway. This game overall, obviously, Home guard boots completed onto Flare, so the flanks are a very real possibility. It still has to do with the poke from Nidalee. Team Impulse, they have been able to get Dragon Control, which is actually incredibly huge for them this game, because they, with the Yasuo, if they can brute force their way in, start the Dragon, throw up the wind wall to stop the Nidalee Spears, and just rush it down again and again, those are fights that Impulse wants to win and can win.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I think they're going to continue just trying to withstand the poke in between dragons and then just go for them on cooldown, because when they hit 5 dragons, that's their win condition here.
And that might be very solid for these guys. They've got the first one early enough on that 5 is not out of the reach. It feels like Impulse have, my first thought, as a better team fighting team just because of how scary Yasuo can be on the squishy backline. Maybe some good engagements can come in. Flair's still getting chunked out by Apollo. He really wants this, but that's a bit greedy! Yeah, he wanted the farm. All right. Not worth the 34 gold.
Yeah, that was rough there. Apollo actually getting sneaky amount of power here. Trinity Force and Sork Shoes completed.
Nice wind wall. Has to, wow.
That was some respect right there.
Ult and flash out of Otter. Exhaust and flash out of body drop just for Yasuo saying, I got a tornado, dog.
But look at this. This is the lack of the wave clear from the NME team in general. This is both their solo winners basically losing the turret to just a Corki.
Maybe Rush is going to overstep, though, as well. Both these teams playing a little bit too hard. Rumble Equalizer comes in from well over the wall, but Otter gets the kill onto Rush. Impact, still not exactly scary. Flares has ulti if they want to fight anymore. Adrian goes for the engage on Inox, gets nothing for it except the kill on a body drop. Adrian will lose his life. Both supports dead. Flares does turn one back around, but in comes Apollo. Summoner heal keeps him alive. A double kill so far for Otter. Make that a triple kill. Actually, one goes over to Inox, but a big lead for NME eSports off that.
Wow, a long, extended fight right there. Would definitely be a bit of an overchase by the majority of Impulse. All started with Rush getting caught out of position. Impact still too weak to meaningfully help. Then also the fact that the Hecarim who died at the very start wasn't necessarily being respected for his death timer, so he came in at the end. All very big moments that fall in the favor of NME.
A fight without Xiao Xiao, definitely a rough one here. NME eSports now sitting on a 1,400 gold lead, and the turret's equalized. I want to point out Xiao Xiao has a phage here. He's going for, I think, Black Cleaver.
Or Trinity Force. I've seen Trinity Force on Yasuo.
Really?
Anyway, yeah, Rush was going for a flank. I think they were trying to turret dive because they'd had so much success in the mid lane turret. But because that didn't work, NME gets the flash around. A little bit out of sync because Xiao Xiao is down in that bottom lane on Yasuo trying to create split push pressure. He does get the turret, but the rest of his team got ran over by a dead horse, unfortunately. Nice set of kills as well for Otter.
Really slick by Otter to pop the Ren, not for the kill, but to land the slow to get his team in range. I've seen so many kills where like there's like 17 Ren stacks on target, but they wanted it to execute, and it just like walks away without getting hit. It's good to see Otter able to watch the fight as it goes in. Impulse with an 800 here as Dragon's going to spawn for the 3rd time on this map. Traditionally, Impulse has done a great job controlling it. The enemy kind of threatening Baron, but at the same time, mid lane's also being threatened here.
This is the Dragon, though.
Yeah.
So Impulse just lost a pretty big fight. They do have Rumble Equalizer up, but it's only rank 1. This is still a very, very sad Rumble. Level 9. Interesting how NME, instead of contesting the 3rd Dragon, is actually pressuring the Baron. They would need to force a fight because otherwise Impulse can just posture and solo the Dragon out. Let's see here.
Xiao Xiao is out of flow, and he's soloing this Dragon here. Low on health, gets the solo kill, though. And here comes the engage. Rush looking for the nice knockups come in. Where will the fight start? Body drop's going to be the first kill. This one. Fear comes in towards Rush, and a Xiao Xiao who gets the last breath in time. Doesn't get any kills for it, though. It's going to be still 3 coming into overall for Team Impulse. Just enough damage dealt. Otter forced to run, but he's got nowhere to go. Rush with the barrel. Nice anchor from Adrian. A double kill for Impact. He's back in the game.
And that can go straight into the Baron. That's exactly what Team Impulse wanted. Not only did they get the 3rd Dragon, but they also got the team fight without any poke landing on them since NME was running back and forth between Baron and Dragon. I'd say poor calls overall by NME right there. They should have been trying to posture around the Dragon and get poke in, but Impulse got the team fight they wanted. We know why that was the type of team comp they're playing, and they found the fight.
Oh, what a good fight by Team Impulse, just barely landing the setup for the Yasuo ulti right as he was about to die. The damage dealt allowed them 2 more kills. Top lane turret goes down, but with the Baron gold in hand, Impulse set to pull ahead in this game, up 2,000 and maybe more soon.
Yeah, as long as they can play clean. One Achilles heel of Team Impulse this year is when they've been able to get that small little lead, they actually haven't extended as well as they did in the spring. Coming back to this fight, though, Xiao doesn't take the ultimate on the first Nautilus ult. They get a good Rumble ultimate as well. And then,
wow, he exhausted Inox at safety play.
Just about to die, and he gets the triple ult. What a massive, massive play by Xiao to solo the Dragon and then come back. A 0-2-5 Yasuo, but 100 CS lead onto Inox because of all the split pushing he's been doing.
Really high impact this game from the Team Impulse mid laner. Knocks up Trashy, looking to keep the movement speed up with Phage, and he's doing a great job for it, going right to Infinity Edge after Phage. So just getting it for the stats it provides, goes with the ulti in on the Trashy, might just solo out this Rek'Sai, and does so. Xiao making a lot of big plays.
He's not done.
He wants to kill everybody here, looks for honor,
Alrighty.
Can't quite do it, but exhaust and summoner heal, everything used to keep him alive. That means more map control. Impulse knocked down their 5th turret.
This is why you should always just let Xiao play Yasuo. Even if it doesn't look good at first, he will always try and make the big play. He's so comfortable on that champion. The pressure he drew down into the bottom lane. Now with the Baron, they can get that middle inhibitor cracked open. The turret is down. Next time they win a team fight, they can take it easy.
The 24 kills in as many minutes this game. Impulse definitely giving us entertaining games in the summer split here. The risks this time around starting to pay off later on in the game. 3,000 gold lead puts them in a nice spot. Infinity Edge plus static shift now done for Xiao. A lot of good things just got completed.
Yeah. Jeez. What if we go Trinity Force next? Yeah, we'll see what that Phage ends up becoming.
I guess it does give you the last 10 crit chance, huh?
Yeah. Either way, some big plays being made by Team Impulse after having NME taking a few edges. All the objective and turret trades are going towards Impulse, so NME needs to do something kind of miraculous to come back here. Inox has in Italy been, despite the 4 kills, fairly underwhelming.
Yeah.
Really see the weaknesses being punished. Not having the wave clear, not having the dueling potential that is needed, and Xiao is just bulleted from the start.
Yeah, Exhaust Yasuo has done a really good job of preventing these kills. Inox has been playing Cougar form about half the game and looking for the burst kills, and really timely Exhaust to prevent that from mattering, and just putting that Nidalee into a dangerous situation instead. So all props to Xiao for a split pushing, and props for Impact getting back into this game. He's actually now the kill leader of his team, despite still being the least farmed of anyone who's not a support in this game.
Well, we did say he is going to become Rumble at some point. Now he has a 2nd rank into the ultimate, plus the Leandries, and I mean soon to be Zhonya's. That's all you really need as a Rumble to have an impact in the game. And even in the fight they won, he had a good Rumble ulti down to begin with.
Another time from the bottom lane here. Chaplin won't quite land, but it forces the teleport from Impact here. In comes Trash. The fight is still on, and Xiao, of course, very low. Equalizer comes across. 1 kill picked up. Xiao lands a knockup, goes for Inox. Is it going to be enough? The Zhonya's pop means there's going to be some trade damage back through, but an ult from Adrian going to buy some time. The Ren doesn't quite kill, but a Hurricane Bolt does. A 2-for-0 in favor of NME eSports. A great hook off the Fate's call will knock in Adrian. Trashy picks up a kill as well, his 5th of the game, and now NME eSports the team with the lead.
That was not a good teleport.
No.
For a number of reasons. They'd already used a lot of their CC, or they didn't have any CC. His teleporting wasn't going to do much. He's underleveled. It's a big mistake for Team Impulse. Another one that has plagued them so far this split. They give up a lot of their advantages. Dragon in 1 minute, at least they'll be respawned for that. That's what they want to force. But the pressure they had created on the map has dissipated.
Speaking of pressure on the map, teleport advantage now for Flares as well. We watch this 1v2 again.
Yeah, I mean, he throws out the wind wall early on. Xiao is playing it relatively well, but he doesn't get the knock-up queued. Impact is just kind of there, and then he comes in to immediately die. They had no vision on the Rek'Sai when he comes in. Impact doesn't get hardly any damage out. And then Xiao decides to go back in what was basically a 1v3 at this point. Zhonya's no longer blocks the damage on the Yasuo ultimate. At least it shouldn't. It looked like, I couldn't tell if it did in that one. But either way, it wasn't nearly enough to kill him.
Not nearly enough indeed. So NME eSports now looking for Luden's Echoes. We track the Nidalee build here. Zhonya's to survive the matchup. Otherwise, just a bunch of poke damage. By the way, no boots still for Inox. He's just getting ability power items.
Yeah.
So fun to track the builds here either way. Dragon has respawned, and again, TP advantage for NME eSports. So Impact is just on the Dragon. They're going to take Scuttle. They're going to push this as fast as possible, but the top inhibitor turret could get pushed in. In fact, NME eSports going for the play on the Xiaowei Xiao. Bit of damage dealt. He puts the wind wall in. The rest of Impulse now on the chase, but where is Flares going to be? As it's a 5v4 with Otter getting caught out. Flashes the wall, takes a ton of damage, and Adrian gets the kill credit. Recall from the Hecarim, but it's a 5 versus 3. Impulse in complete control. Ready to push even farther in.
It's the damnedest thing about watching Team Impulse play. They make a huge mistake and then they'll follow it up with a really nice play. This one was, again, Xiaowei Xiao creating an opportunity in the mid lane.
The mid lane is where the inhibitor will go down after the 2-for-0. Dragon still on the field. That will be number 4 for Team Impulse. It seems like objectives just keep going the correct way for the red team here. NME eSports did not play around the teleport well at all. They gave away that team fight. TAP capitalized very nicely.
Yeah. And now it's Dragon number 4. We thought that the 4 to 5 Dragons would be a major win condition for Team Impulse right here, and they're now 6 minutes away from number 5.
34-25, the game time of Dragon 5 spawning on the map. NME eSports have allowed all the members to respawn. They're running through the top jungle. Baron is up in 30 seconds. And they still hold the teleport lead for 2 minutes. We've got wards in the jungle. There's warning pings from TIP here.
Yeah.
It looks like no one is willing to face check.
Unless they're together. Rush would be the only one you'd want to go in with, but you need your damage behind you.
Good ward. They see Enox, they see Flares. And here's the attempted engage. Xiaowei Xiao has used his tornado. There's 1 Q, there's 2. He's got the knockup one more time. He can land it on a Flares, does so, doesn't pop the ulti. Body drop, gonna go for the flash. A great wind wall, but Xiaowei Xiao keeps him alive. Another knockup on a Flares. Great disengage. Xiaowei Xiao playing it out properly. And once again, Impulse holding control.
Doing a significant amount of damage to Flares on the way out as well, so. Despite the scoreline, this game is really all about Xiaowei Xiao's Yasuo and how much pressure he's been able to create. Also props to Apollo. His Corki, when he hit that level 11 power spike, created a lot of pressure on the map. If it gets late enough, though, you know, it definitely will fall off. He's built the Last Whisper and his Sorcerer shoes already, so the scaling opportunities for Corki are kind of few and far between at this point.
Yeah, we'll see where else the build takes him. Infinity Edge likely to be the last slot, which will help him, I guess, a little bit. Otter on his way towards Bloodthirster, the standard double lifesteal build for the Kalista. If she can navigate fights, then good for her, but Windwall can certainly drop the damage output of NME eSports since most of their carries are ranged here. There's Echo down on Inox. A lot of clean direction on him with the blue buff as well, and he's just taking a whole bunch of farm. But NME eSports forced to play very much on the back foot. Team Impulse wanting to set up Baron with very little ward control for the blue team. Baron already started, gonna force the recall into teleport from Flares.
Frying Orb in, they can throw a Thresh in there as well. It's basically about peeling for a fight.
But Trashy's already dead before the fight even begins, and the Equalizer is great to buy a lot of time. More kills come through as Slaughter over to NME eSports. 3 kills picked up. The hook's gonna not mean much, and a double kill for Xiaowei Xiao. 4-0 in that fight, and a super minion in the mid lane to push the base down.
I really like what Team Impulse has done this game about forcing objectives so that they can get fights. Every time enemy walks close, they're not having time to poke. They get Nautilus assaulted or Grag assaulted, which then combos into a Yasuo last breath, and this could be game.
This could be game indeed, chat. 10 seconds ago until anyone respawns from the lineup. Otherwise, it is a 1 versus 5. Inox just now gets the recall off, being chased out by Xiaowei Xiao. The recalls come in, the respawns are here, and it's going to be just an inhibitor turret. That could have been Baron.
Whoa, yeah. The death timers were not quite as long as I expected them to be. We've had a lot of 45-minute games today, Freak.
Yeah.
This one only 30 minutes in, so the death timers haven't hit the max rank yet.
All right, so
I guess we get to play more League of Legends.
We get to play more League of Legends, but NME eSports are missing a large portion of their base. 4-7 in turret, 16-17 in kills, a clean 5,000 gold lead for the returning LCS team. Battle for 6th place on the line. Both teams at 3 and 4. NME eSports now making the bold run towards Baron. No Equalizer for about 10 seconds right now, maybe.
Begin to describe it. Yeah, they have the Ren to maybe secure it, but everyone on Team Impulse is going to be going for them. Time to turn tail.
Down to 4,000 health, and it's going to be Impulse. Maybe looking for a good engage here. Windwall can really stop it from happening. A big wave in the bot lane that is pushing in that maybe does some damage here. Keep in mind, with a missing Nexus turret, the dead inhibitor will just mean a dead Nexus turret.
Yes.
The second one can't defend itself easily.
Yeah, even with 2 Nexus turrets, oftentimes a super minion wave with the right stack will kill a turret. With 1, it's not even a contest. You need someone back there to defend it. And with Flares burning his teleport already, it makes the Baron Force, or even the Dragon Force in 1 minute and 40 seconds for 5th Dragon, even more advantageous for Team Impulse. We've said it before, but Team Impulse is in control of this game. If they play their cards right, they've got this. Enemy is trying to force a mistake here, but it looks like they may be making the mistake themselves.
Well, there's a bit of time without the AD carry or the top laner, about 10 seconds until those guys join in. Baron's still getting attempted here. Body Drop losing a lot of health. The engage comes in towards Otter. Rush doing a lot of damage here. Xiao exhausted and running now into the fight. He's going to land the ulti onto 1. The shutdown comes in. Xiao is dead. And how well can the team kite? Otter is alive. 2 kills already. But here comes Apollo with a vengeance, trying to get the kill on the opposing AD carry. That will go Impulse's way. Inox and Trashy only 2 alive versus 3 standing members of Team Impulse. That is a 1 fight, but Inox has some poke.
Yeah, but he's out of mana right now, so he cannot continue the onslaught of poke for very long. Even so, Impulse backs away. Another close fight that basically is going to reset things for this Dragon coming up in 45 seconds, Free.
Well, Trash was able to heal, and he has his ultimate. Inox going to be forced to do something very similar. Sork Shoe's done on him.
Yeah, so I mean, looking at this one more time, NME needed about another 1,000 damage done to the Baron if they wanted to burst it, but Rush got in there in time. But then the approach from Impulse was slow. Obviously, the Rumble was down back in the bottom, which is why it was slow. Rumble ult comes in, doesn't necessarily hit everyone, and this is where it got pretty close. If not for the Valk flash forward from Apollo, Otter may have been able to Callista the rest of that fight out, jumping back and back and back. But Apollo had his priorities straight. Great game from him. 6-1 on Corki.
Absolutely wonderful for him, and it is going to be Infinity Edge last, but NME eSports have to stop Dragon 5. They go right away. Impulse are here, the Righteous Glory pop. Oh. Here comes the engage. Smite comes through, picked up by Rush. Dragon 5 is in. Flare's going to die to the fire, and Inox now also jumped on, has nowhere to go. 3 kills already picked up, and Impulse with a minion wave in the mid lane could maybe look for the win.
The straw that breaks the camel's back may have been a nice smite right there by Rush. So desperate of NME. They really wanted to avoid the 5th Dragon, so they end up trying to force a fight without prep, which is exactly what Impulse wanted in the first place. Then you get the fact that Impulse got the Dragon Smite for the 5th Dragon, and this is going to be game. This time,
This one for sure, yeah, unless there's some kind of crazy misstep. This will be it. Xiao with the wind wall to really buy a lot of time for his team. The last turret goes down, 12 seconds on the respawns here, and Team Impulse will improve their record to 500. 4-4, sole position in 6th place. Congratulations to Team Impulse.
That was definitely a bloodbath. 23 kills for Impulse, 18 for NME, 41 kills in a 35-minute game. And we got to see Xiao's Yasuo, which always makes it a good day in my book.
It does. His score, 4, 5, and 11. Pretty good participation for him. Apollo, definitely a shining light for the team, though. 7-1 and 10, very consistent performer. Highest gold on the team, actually, thanks to all his kills.
Yeah, first Corki game for him of the split as well. He had been so dedicated to that Sivir pick. Then, because of the Sivir bans, he's been deviating slightly to Callista and Graves. But the composition built around having a spread of magic damage and physical damage here. Corki can do all of the above, as well as a little bit of true damage. Just allowed Apollo to clean up a lot of the fights. Also, if you think about it, Corki able to be involved in fights that not necessarily starting. Missiles always flying in at the end. Great close distance from Valkyrie. Overall, smart champion select from Team Impulse. A impulsive game that ended up having a definite amount of back and forth things, which you can see NME definitely discussing right now.
Yeah, we've certainly seen both teams play a little bit over-aggressive at times. Some of them worked out, some of them did not pay off. The poke, as you mentioned, not landing enough here for the NME eSports roster. Inox had his choice of almost any champion in the game. At the beginning of the split, was known for playing Assassins very well, switched more to poke champions, but it seemed like TIP played so well around that, you know, I mean, who even picks poke against TIP in the first place? They're gonna dive on you, they're gonna engage, and unable to keep the team at arm's length.
Yeah, I really wonder if Inox was expecting the Yasuo like we were on the desk. We thought maybe there's 3 different physical damage dealers that could kind of fit this. 2 of them are pokey, 1 of them is Yasuo, who is definitely not. But Nidalee is not a good lane matchup against Yasuo, and Inox ended up picking into that. Obviously, you picked Nidalee first, but not his